guys, hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Tony, and this is my channel, Black Mama Broad. If you are new here, thank you for coming. If you are a returner, thank you for coming back. Girl, I know, I ain't been here. I have not been here, okay? I have not been doing videos, but this video is going to explain a lot, okay? So make sure you stay all the way to the end, because I'm going to spill as much as I can within the allotted time. I'll probably do another video because it's been a lot, okay? First of all, how y'all doing? I ain't got no hair. I ain't got no hair, but you know black women, honey, we are quick to do a big chop, and not care, honey, and hair be growing back in the next 6 months. Okay, y'all, it's been a lot, but as you can see, I am not in Mexico, and I got a lot to say. First I'll say this. First let me just put a disclaimer. I am sitting outside on the porch, and this traffic goes through. So if you hear a loud traffic, then bear with me, because y'all know I don't be doing a whole bunch of edits. I ain't gonna be doing a whole bunch of edits. Like, let's just be real. Not yet. I don't have it in me. Okay. The first order of business is like, girl, where you been? Like, where you been? And what took you so long to do a video? I'm gonna tell you first. I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of things happened to me that I just did not expect. Right? And from all over, from different channels, right? I didn't expect that. That's number one. Number two, sometimes things happen and you have to make decisions that it's just not really what you wanted, right? And for me, I will be honest and say that it took me a long time to do this video, because I care way too much what people think, and people can be cruel and very judgmental and just tell your story for you. So I decided, let me tell my own story, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna lie, it took me a long time to do this video, because I was like, oh Lord, they're gonna say that, I'm broke, or she couldn't handle it, she didn't do her research. I really think that, like, regardless of what it is, honey, I need not to care what people think. And that's a part of the journey. Somebody else gonna be in here like, girl, you need therapy. We have a step, okay? But I'm just being real. I really did not want to do this video because it's a lot to say. It's very, very, very emotional. It's very authentic, and it's me showing a lot of vulnerability of what did not go right, and how that made me feel, and what decisions I made. So I was not looking forward to doing this video, but then I was like, girl, just do the video. Do the video, and then tell your story the way you want to tell your story. And so, okay, so the last time I think I did a video, I really kind of was just dropping my girls off. I had came back to Mexico, and I was by myself. Okay, let's freeze there. So before I dropped my girls off, I was already feeling like just a sense of loss in self. Like, even though there's a huge black community and with children and mothers and sisters and brothers, all of that, right? I think it takes time to build a community, and I just felt like it was hard for me to be any resemblance of who I was because I left and I didn't have my community. Like, I think that one thing that moving to Mexico taught me is that I need a community. Like, that's how Black people are raised, with the community. It's not like I need one because I just have to have somebody in my, helping me. No, it's my children literally grew up on community. That's what saved their lives, our lives. I wrote an ebook, and I think I say a bit about just my story and how I'm a premature mom, preemie mom. My girls were born so early, 3 months early. Like, if it wasn't for my community helping me, taking shifts, making sure my baby got skin to skin, even if it wasn't my skin, if it wasn't for our community, we would not be here. I would not be here. My life would be or look very, very different. And I missed that community. And not only did I miss it, because I recognize that I can deal with a lot more than I feel like my children can, because they're children. But it wasn't even that. It was like, I don't want my children to grow up without a community, and the time it takes to curate a community in another country while you're learning the language, while you're meeting new people, while you're learning yourself. Like, my girls are very extroverted. They will talk to everybody. I'm like, yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a very friendly person, and I will talk to people, but my go-to is, I'm a little bit of a loner, and I kind of enjoy my alone time. I'll say that. I don't think I'm a loner. I enjoy my alone time, but I'm not really that outgoing where I'll just go up. And that, you're like, you got to get out of that when you're in another country. It just takes time for all of the stuff, all these things to unravel before you even realize, oh shit, this is a problem. This is gonna be a problem. And so I try, when they were here in Maryland visiting their dad, I tried to get out, push myself, and I did wind up meeting some people that we took some trips on. I'll have a conversation about that later, about meeting people and getting to know people, and then realizing that some of them aren't what they say they are. It's just a lot. It's a lot. So I realized that when my daughters were here and I was there, it was like, okay, I miss community. I miss being around people that I can talk to, that I'm familiar with. I miss not having to think about every single conversation that I'm going to have, because it's in Spanish, or you know what I'm saying. It was just a lot. And I feel like what was happening is that I was getting sad. Yes, I was saddened a lot of the times, and I thought that it had a lot to do with my apartment, because I was just not happy with my apartment. Okay, so let me just tell y'all, I don't know why I did this. I have no clue when I look retrospect, but I'll tell you why I think I did it. So when I moved to Mexico, like, I don't know if you guys heard me say, like, I love my home. Well, I've learned over the years to have my home to be very nice and comfortable and amazing, and somewhere where you want to come home to and you can relax and just love. And so I realized how important that is to me. So I've been trying to do that more and more. So when I left, before I left Maryland, I had got my house together and just, it was way more comfortable, and I was like, I like this. I anywhere I move to, I have to have a comfortable house. I don't know why I completely took all of that comfort and threw it out of the window when I moved to another country. Even though I could afford more, I never felt something about being in another country for me. I just never felt stable enough to want to, like, make the Mexican home, my apartment in Mexico, my home. Like, I don't know, I don't know, but anyway, I forgot my train of thought. Anyway, let me start over. So yeah, so the child, I forgot. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna come back. Oh, so when I left to go to Mexico, I kind of threw all of that comfort out the window, and I dealt with things that I would have never dealt with when I was here. And I'm not, even though I could afford to do differently, and I'll tell you what I feel. That's what I was about to say. I'll tell you what I feel like also contributed to that. So I guess what I'm telling you guys is why I decided to leave Merida, right? Why I'm back in the United States yet again. So when I realized that I like nice things and I'm not sure why I gave that completely up, I had to, like, more stuff had to unravel. And then I was like, hey, I never felt stable in another country, even though I had an nest egg and I had a job. The reason why I didn't feel stable, and I know that I'm not the only one, right? I know that there are a lot of other people out there like that who are working jobs, who can work remote, but company doesn't know that you're working out of the country. And that was my case, right? Which is why a lot of times when people, like, commented, like, who do you work for? Who do you work for? 9 times out of 10, if you're working for a company in healthcare, especially on the patient care side, you are not going to be able to work in another country. However, if you're doing, like, nurse consulting and you work for yourself, I've seen that happen. I did a combination of the two, but the consulting was not enough to sustain me, and so I had to do a remote RN position, nursing position, but the company didn't know. So in the back of my mind, I never really felt stable, right? Because I was just feeling like, oh, I could lose my job, I could lose my job, I could lose my job. And I'm not really sure why. I know why, because I feel like in this world, we're programmed to be afraid to lose our job, because once we lose our job, the next thing is we're going to be homeless for 6 months. Mind you, I have a whole entire family. So but I just feel like we're programmed to believe that. But I had a nest egg. I could have, I don't know, I didn't need to be worried, but I was, and I felt like I just couldn't get settled, and that feeling just made me not want to actually invest in my home. And I don't know. I don't know. That's just I'm being completely honest. Okay, so I decided like, maybe it's the apartment. That's why I'm so saddened, because this is not really where I want to be. It was miserable for me, to be honest. It was just, I didn't like it. Um, And I liked it at first because I got it on the premise that I was going to put some extra little things in there, because I love to do like DIY things. I was going to like spruce it up, but that was not my reality. When I got there, I didn't want to spruce it up. I didn't feel safe enough to spruce it up. Another reason why I didn't feel safe enough to kind of like spruce it up, I'm not feeling the rental process in Merida at all. Like, it's a complete and absolute scam. Like, so I can fix this up, put my money into it, make it 10 times better, and won't get a security deposit, won't get a double deposit back, nothing. And so the more and more I realize, like, okay, this whole rental thing is a scam. I really wasn't trying to put more into the home. mm, Excuse me, y'all. But I started to feel sad. I'm like, well, maybe it's the apartment. At first, I knew it was because I just couldn't get a break from my daughters. Like, they were around all the time. Like, we were together 24/7. And y'all know I love my kids, child, honey. Okay? But my eye was twitching, right? My eye was twitching. And I don't like when I become short with my kids, because it's just not a good thing. So I knew I needed a break, because that's just not how I want to parent. Like, I don't want to be angry all the time. I don't want my kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are other emotions than anger and frustration. And so I want them to see other sides of me, happy, joy, whatever, funny, whatever. And so I know I needed a break. So once they went with their dad and I was there alone, I was still sad. You know what I'm saying? I tried to go out more. I was still sad. And then I decided, okay, well, maybe it's this apartment. So I decided to move. I found another apartment probably within, I don't know, like, I want to say 3-4 weeks into me getting back to Maryland. And that's another thing, like, half of the trip, half of my time alone was like not time alone, because I was doing a lot of work. Like, I had to move from one apartment to the next apartment, and in Mexico and anywhere, that's a lot. But in Mexico, it's a hell of a lot, okay? It's just a lot. It's a lot. And so I had to go through that process, and going through that process and realizing that, like, oh, this is a scam no matter what you do. So I'm in there trying to clean and wipe everything down, even though it wasn't delivered to me in that way, and make sure I, do this and fix this and screw this in and do whatever needs to be done. And honey, still wind up having to pay for the whole place to get repainted. Now, what the? So I had to deal with that, and then I had to deal with, moving and finding another apartment, which is a whole nother story. It was just a lot. So finally getting in the second apartment, cleaning that one, settling in, I get a call from my son. I have a 14-year-old and I have a 17-year-old who lives with their dad. I get a call from my son, and he just didn't sound right. I can't really explain the sound. Or maybe it was just my feelings of guilt. I don't know. But I feel like maybe it was a combination of both. It just didn't sound right. And it was the fact that he was having, issues with his dad, problems with school, just teenager stuff. And he just needed his mom. And so my son is, coming into the transition of coming from high school to college. And I just feel like he needs me. Regardless, like even if he decides he doesn't want to go to college, he needs me to guide him through that next transition, because I'm really the one that's going to guide him. And that's just the truth of the matter. And I'm going to guide him in the way that is thought out, but in the way that he wants. Like, I don't want to push him to do something that he doesn't want to do. But nonetheless, I felt like he needs that guidance from me, and so I'm here. At that moment, when I got that phone call, I was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. The girls were still with their dad, so they didn't have to come back. But then I'm thinking to myself, like, but if I leave, this is all the things that's going on through my mind when I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should give up on this dream that I've worked so hard to do. Not only have I worked hard for it, my sister worked hard for it, which again weighed into me feeling like, do I want to stay or do I want to go? Like, I don't know if I told this before, my sister contributed $25,000 of her money as like a nest egg for me, right? In case I needed it. And that weighed heavily on me when I was trying to make my decision of whether she doesn't know that. She'll know it now. But it weighed heavily on me when I, was thinking about, like, should I stay or should I go? Like, I don't want to waste her money. I don't want her to think that I didn't appreciate it. And then I have, like, my son, just hearing him, understanding the dynamics between him and his dad, and him about to be transitioning into college, and him needing me, the girls, me feeling like they missed their community because they're not raised by a single mother, although they have a single mom. I am a single mom. They are raised truly, like, I really cannot say anything other. They are raised by the community, and they will continue to be raised by the community. And that kind of weighed in. Like, I didn't want to take that away from them. Just me not actually telling my employer that I was working in Mexico, that feeling of instability and not knowing I could lose my job, like, all of those things play into it. And so you can imagine the back and forth that I was going through. And so I was just not happy. Another thing I will say, I'm gonna let this truck go past. Another thing that I will say that I wrestled with was not wanting to accept the fact that something that I wanted to do didn't really pan out the way that I wanted to. Understanding, getting through that, it's okay if something didn't work out the way you wanted it to work. It doesn't mean that you didn't get anything from it. It doesn't. I mean, I've learned a hell of a lot. I I have so many valuable things from this experience, and so, but I did wrestle with that, like, you know, that you just wasted your time. You should just keep going, figure it out. And I mean, I'm really conflicted with that. For me, if something is not working for me, I respect people who stick in there and work it out, because I think that's value in that. But I also feel like you don't have to suffer or be sad or just not be in a good place just because you don't want to leave, and you don't want to say, well, maybe this wasn't the right time or it didn't work out. Whatever it is, like, pivot. Pivot. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to pivot. And I had to learn that. And I'm telling you, anytime I'm making a video, I am really, y'all know I'm talking about me. You know, I'm talking to myself. I had to, like, really talk to myself and tell myself it's okay to pivot. Like, there are no pivot police. But trying to make something work while you suffer in silence, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. And so there were a lot of other reasons why I decided to leave and what I would do differently. So I'm not going to stay on this topic too much longer on this topic about Merida and the whole. Honestly, Merida is not for me. It's not. And I love the heat. I love the humidity. Like, that's not it. I know that, you know, people say, oh, I couldn't deal with it because of the heat. I'm a heat girl. I'm always cold, child. Always cold. Okay? I love the heat. I love the humidity. I don't mind sweating, honey. It was very good for my skin. Just getting all those toxins out. I did not mind that. However, everything else around it minded. I had 2 laptops that just conked out on me. I don't, like, it's just a matter of time. Like, I guess it depends on where you live in Merida, but the moisture is ridiculous. Like, I left my apartment for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, came back and it was moldy. Like, Merida is not somewhere, like, you have to consistently take care of the environment even for like a day. Like, you cannot let nothing go. Like, nothing. If you leave a half an inch of a peach, it'll either be consumed by ants or fruit flies. It's like you have to maintain the house. And I don't mind, like, the, you know, making sure. That's just a Mexico thing, you know, making sure there are no crumbs, nothing like that. But the moisture and the damage that it does to clothes, sheets, like, it infiltrates everything. And so I was like, I'm really not really for that. I went into, several times, I went into my daughter's, like, dressers to get some clothes, and it felt damp. You know what I'm saying? It felt damp, and it's like, ooh. And I always felt like I was breathing in some mildew. So Merida is just too humid. There's too much moisture in the air for me. It destroys everything around you. Which is why the furniture is processed wood. Like, you have to have certain furniture, and even then it's still something that you have to consistently maintain, and something that I just wasn't about to do. And Merida is just not it for me. It's just yeah, it's just not for me. I dislike the food. I've already told y'all that. I will never change on that. The food is not good. I don't know it's just not good. You know, that's just my opinion, honey. And I really don't want to live in a place where I don't feel like the food is good. I mean, that's important for me. That is important for me. And so, but the number one thing, which could just be the process, the number one thing that I disliked about Merida is the real estate market. Merida is growing. There are a lot of people there. More and more are coming every single day, which I don't have a problem with that. But I don't want to feel like every time I move, I'm getting played. They're going to keep my deposit, because if something happens and you decide you need to move, or you don't like it, it's just you waste a lot of money in the rental process, and I just don't like that. I just did not like it at all. So what happened with this last apartment, because as you know, I'm in the United States and I left, I was literally there for like 2 weeks. Like, nothing was wrong, nothing happened. I had moved my stuff in, and then I was packing my stuff up and moving it out, because I made the decision after moving, and not really feeling any better. And then I got the phone call from my son, but I was only at that apartment for like 2 weeks. I didn't get not 1 cent back, nothing. So what did you? And the house was pristine. The way I found it is the way I left it. Nothing was different, and didn't get a red cent back. Not even that. And I don't know if this is just Mexico or if it's Merida. I literally paid my daughter's tuition to Alliance Community. I paid their tuition, and I paid the admission price for the tuition. The registration. ×2, child. Okay. Registration, and I paid for the books. Ain't get none of that money back. None. I've been in communication with them, still are in communication with them. But what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Nothing. Keep bugging them until they decide they want to block me. I didn't like it. Like, it makes me feel uncomfortable. It doesn't make me feel financially safe, and maybe it's something I need to do, or I'm doing wrong within the process of just trying to like get my life together, get my kids' lives together, settled in another country, and I'm just doing what I feel like I need to do. And people legitimately are not giving you the money back that they're supposed to be giving back. I mean, they even have a policy where if you cancel within the framed that you need to cancel, that you would either get 100% refund, 70%, I think, and 50%, and then nothing back. And I canceled at the correct time where I should have gotten all of my money back. At the very least, half. Didn't get that. So I don't know. I just think that I didn't have a good experience, and that not so great experience cost me a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But I am not saying that I will never return to Mexico, because I am. I can't wait to return, but it won't be Merida. I chose, like I said before, I chose Merida because Merida was easy. You know, it was 2 hours away on the airplane. But what I've noticed is this: the people who want to come see you are going to come see you. The people who ain't going to come see you is not going to come see you. That's really what it is. Okay? That's really what it is. And it's not like it's a 24-hour flight. So anyway, it won't be Merida. Merida was never supposed to be my landing space, and I think that what I would do differently, to be honest, is to get where you really want to go. Don't start at a quote-unquote comfortable place, because it had, for me, it had comforts that I didn't actually need. Like I would have rather touch down in the place that I really wanted to touch down. At least I could have learned whether that place was for me. I had already known that Merida wasn't for me. And so I would say to do what it is that you want to do the first time. Do that the first time. And at least you can learn whether or not that's something that you actually want to do, don't want to do, want to stay, don't want to stay. Don't start out with something that you don't want because you feel like it's the easiest option. Ain't none of it easy, so you might as well go for the gusto. And I think the hardest part for me is knowing that Merida wasn't it, and not really completely understanding, you know, why did I already know that but still proceeded. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell y'all something, to be honest. Moving abroad is way more about your personal growth than anything else. You are forced to see yourself and why you do the things you do, what triggers you have, what you need to work on. It really, I'm telling you. It is an amazing way to start healing, because you're forced to see. You are forced to see. And so I am and forever will be grateful for this opportunity that I had to move to another country, because I needed a shake, I think. Yeah, pretty much. I needed a shake. Like, girl, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like one of those shakes, like, girl, what is you doing? Like, okay, now what? You know? So I will forever be grateful. Sorry, guys. I will forever be grateful for that. And so now, what am I doing? So right now, I'm living with my sister, right? Sister homeless. I'm homeless. No, I will never be homeless. Well, I hope never to be homeless. But I said it because I have so much family and support. But I'm living with my sister, waiting for my tenant lease to be over. So, you know, I mean, all is not lost. I have a home. I sold everything, so I have to furnish my entire house. And so I decided that I was going to furnish my entire house on stuff from like the Goodwill, estate sales. I'll keep you updated. Like things like couches, I'll probably buy new. Any type of like fabric, if it can't be washed, I'll probably buy new. But other than that, a great deal of the furniture is coming from the Goodwill, because another thing that I learned in this process is that in order to live this life that I want to live, there's a lot more that I need to do financially, like just really educate myself more, and I'm learning to do that, because I've always been a person who's made really good money, but I've never made good decisions. And so, you know, it's just a lot. It opened my eyes to a lot, and I really don't think that my eyes would have been opened like this if I did not take this journey. And so for now, I'll be staying in the United States. My girls, I enrolled them into kindergarten. They've been in school for about a month now. And what I want to do, because they miss Mexico. Oh my God, they miss Mexico. It's so crazy how kids are. They miss Maryland so bad, and they miss Mexico. But what I want to do is to spend my summers in Mexico. So for like 3 months, spend my summers in Mexico. That is what I would like to do. So that's what I'm working towards, and then coming back, coming back, you know, in the school year, or spend half the summer in Mexico, until we meet again. And so that's where I've been. That's what's been going on right now. I have been just enjoying my free time. I still work remotely. Excuse me. Whew. That's because I'm talking too much. I still work remotely. So after I drop my daughters off, I try to have some time for me. Still trying to, it's like, the only thing is, like, when you make these changes, like when you leave the country, right? In that country, there's a transition. When you leave the country, there's a lot you got to do. There's a lot you got to clean up. There's a lot you got to move out. You move to another country, you got to move in. There's a lot you got to move in. There's a lot you got to buy. You got to get over there with all that stuff. And then you coming back, it's just been that process. And now I'm here, and again, when my tenant is up, I'll be moving back in. So I will be happy when I have a moment to like sit and I'm in my own home, you know, and I'm settled. But yes, so for now, we're in the United States, and that's what it is. There is going to be probably another video soon. Let me see if I got everything on here. Yeah. I think I got it. I think I got it. I think I got it. I have a bullet that says, knowing it wasn't for me and still doing it anyway. Right. Knowing Merida was not for me and still doing it anyway, you know. I would say also, before I go, know what works for you and be okay if that's not what works for the masses. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also, please realize and understand that, because I think that was, you know, I don't think you can have this world of influencers if no one was getting influenced, right? Influencers make it as much money as they do because they are major marketing like successes. Like, that's like marketing. So because they get people to buy things, they get people to do things. I think there is a lot of influence to move to Merida. And I don't know if that weighed in on any of my decision. It probably did. It probably did. But what I will say is this: is do, and I know I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. Do the thing that you want to do first. Because here's the thing: there are people living in Merida, and they are not telling you their truth. They're not, and they don't have to, right? Because there's some people who just don't want to share what they feel like is negativity, or they're working through something. Whatever the case may be, it's fine. But do know that everybody's experience is different, right? Everybody's experience is different. But there are a lot of people that are in Merida and that are not happy and are just in this position because they made a commitment and said that they was going to come to this place. And I get it, but I urge you not to do it. I urge you that when you see people online telling you like how amazing it is and how this, you can believe them, of course, but you have to see it for yourself, because guess what? My amazing is not your amazing. My amazing is not your amazing. My fun ain't your fun. My okay ain't your okay. And that's the thing of the matter. We are all different. And what one person may like, the other may despise. Despise. So even if someone is absolutely telling their truth ain't your truth. But there's a lot of people who aren't being completely open about how they're really feeling and the difficulties that they're actually having. Especially, I feel like, when it comes to your children. However, that's their prerogative. But I urge you to don't do your own research. Commit to staying for 3 to 6 weeks in a country that you want to live in before you live in it. Before you make a decision to lease for a year, any of that. I don't care how many times you've been for 7 days. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Listen, I'm trying to tell you. But yeah, okay, I gotta go. I feel like I've been mumbling for the last 10 minutes. But please subscribe, and stick with me on my journey. I have a lot more things that I want to talk about. I have a lot more things that I would like to address, that I feel like will help people on the journey of moving abroad. I feel I should do a video on what now, like what happens when it doesn't work out and you're back in the United States. What happens? How can you still feed your life with purpose and the things that you need. And I will talk about what made me leave in the first place. I think that this is a good conversation to have. So, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and stay tuned for another video. All right, y'all, gotta get out of here. Bye.